I'm not much of a storyteller, but what I experienced during my stint as a fire lookout in Alaska still haunts me. My name is Jason and this is my tale of terror. In the summer of 1998, I took a job as a fire lookout in the remote wilderness of Alaska. My station was an old, creaky firewatch tower perched high above the dense forests. My duties were simple: keep an eye out for wildfires and report any signs of danger. The isolation didn't bother me. In fact, I relished the solitude, or so I thought. The first few weeks were uneventful, filled with breathtaking sunrises, reading, and long radio calls back to the base. But as the days grew shorter and the nights darker, a sense of unease crept in. It started with small things: a shadow moving outside the tower, strange noises echoing in the night, but I dismissed them as tricks of the light and sounds of wildlife. One particularly dark and stormy night, I was jolted awake by a loud bang. My heart pounded as I grabbed my flashlight and peered out the windows. The forest below was a sea of black, the wind howling through the trees like a mournful wail. That's when I saw it, a figure standing at the edge of the forest, staring up at the tower. I tried to convince myself it was just a bear or a moose, but deep down, I knew it was something else. I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched. The figure disappeared into the darkness, and I reluctantly went back to bed, unable to sleep. Over the next few nights, the noises grew louder, more insistent. Scratching at the door, footsteps on the stairs, whispering voices that seemed to come from nowhere. I started to dread the setting sun, knowing the terror it would bring. One night, as I sat in my chair, clutching my flashlight, the door to the tower slowly creaked open. My breath hitched and I froze. Standing in the doorway was the figure, its eyes glowing an unnatural red. It stepped inside and I could feel the temperature drop, my breath visible in the cold air. The figure moved closer and I could see its face, pale, gaunt, and twisted into a sinister grin. It reached out a skeletal hand and I felt a crushing weight on my chest. Gasping for breath, I stumbled backward, knocking over my chair. In a desperate bid for survival, I fumbled for my radio and called for help. My voice was barely a whisper as I pleaded for someone to come save me. The figure vanished as quickly as it had appeared, leaving me shaking and terrified. By the time the rescue team arrived, I was a mess. I tried to explain what had happened, but they chalked it up to stress and isolation. I left the tower and never looked back, but the memories of that night still haunt me. Years later, I learned that the Firewatch Tower had a dark history. A previous lookout had gone missing, never to be found, and locals whispered about strange occurrences in the area. Whether it was a hallucination or a genuine brush with the supernatural, I'll never know. But one thing is certain: the haunted Firewatch Tower in the Alaskan wilderness will haunt my nightmares forever.